Hi and welcome back to ScottiesTech.Info. I'm Scotty with my co-host Cletus. Some of you have probably read my article. It's a review of Windows 11. I kind of concluded that it's okay. There's some good stuff, there's some bad stuff. It's not really revolutionary. It's not really going to change everything. Microsoft is sort of talking it up. It's a visual refresh of Windows 10, so on and so forth. There's one thing about it though that's pretty annoying, and that is that file history, Windows automated backup system, is essentially borked in Windows 11. So it used to be that what you could do is you'd fire up file history and it would automatically back up your libraries, documents, pictures, videos. You could also add other files and folders that you wanted to back up. So if you had C drive, C:\\, whatever, my stuff, you could tell file history also back up those files. With Windows 11, Microsoft has crippled file history because what they're trying to do is force you to use OneDrive cloud backup. So I had been using file history. I made some earlier videos on file history and how to fix it. The reality is that I continued to have problems with file history. It got worse and worse. And then this whole file history in Windows 11 thing happened, and I just kind of got sick of it. So I started looking at alternatives. You know, Acronis True Image or something, Macrium Reflect. There's like an some backup software. You can use a free version. And I started looking at all these, and the free ones don't quite do what I want, and the paid ones are like $60 for backup software. And I read all the reviews, and essentially everyone's saying like, right, it does almost everything I want except for this. And then you got to pay for it, and sometimes you have to pay for upgrades. And so what if you just want to back up your stuff simply? And I thought about Linux. In the Linux world, we simply use Rsync. For those of you who don't know very much Linux stuff, Rsync is a Linux command where you basically, command line, command prompt commando type thing. You type in this command, you give it some switches, you point it to a source, a destination, including across networks, even between servers. And what it does is it scans over all your files and folders and it copies them to some other location, whether that's the same hard drive, another hard drive, or another server on the internet, for example. And the nifty thing about it is that after it makes that initial copy, what it does is when it runs the copy again, it looks at your source folders and your destination folders and it scans them over. And it only copies data if something has changed on the source. So if you've only edited one Word document, it's not going to copy, 500 gigabytes of your stuff over a second time needlessly. It's going to say, Bob only edited that one Word document, so let me just copy that over. Boom, it's done. So it's extremely fast. So I started thinking, isn't there a way to do this in Windows? And it turns out there is. There is a actually little known command called Robocopy in Windows. It's in Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, and Windows 11. Using this Robocopy command, I created Scotty's Robo Backup script. So I'm going to show you how you can create a very simple backup script. It backs up exactly what you want, whenever you want, however you want, and it takes about 5 minutes to set up, and it's 100% reliable. So let's take a look. So this is my script, but before we get there, let's look at the Robocopy command. If you open a command prompt in Windows, you type Robocopy /? and press enter, you get this really long help file. It tells you how to use Robocopy. You do Robocopy source destination, or you have individual files, and then after that you put all the options. It explains all the options. This thing is like super mega powerful, and it's really kind of complicated to slog through all these options and figure out what's going on. So you don't have to do that because I've made Scotty's Robo Backup script. So, okay. First of all, I will put this script on my website. You can download it. I'll put a link in the description, so you can go to my website and download this batch file from there. You can modify it if need be. First, let me just kind of quick go through like the little lines here. You see down here I have user folders and other folders. So the bare minimum that you're going to want to do is basically this. You're going to want this one line right here. Robocopy, and first you have the source, C users Scotty, right? So that's Scotty, that's my users folder, and the destination is my backup drive. Now, of course, you're going to have to use a backup drive. I recommend an external hard drive. I'll show you my favorite one in just a second. But my backup drive is connected it's a USB drive. It's connected as my T. So I'm going to copy everything from C user Scotty to T backup /C/users/Scotty. Okay, now you can call this whatever you want. T drive is your backup drive. You can change it, all this stuff, backup C user Scotty. You can name it whatever you want. It's going to copy everything from here to here. That's it. But these are all the options that you're going to pass to Robocopy to make it behave. And then you notice here we have this little angle bracket. That's actually going to output the output when Robocopy does its backup. It's going to output a whole log, and you're going to direct that log to /robo_backup.log. So each day you can check this robo backup log and make sure that it's done its thing. Okay, so if all you want to do is back up your users folders, this is the command, that one line, that's all you need in this script. Now, in my case, I have 2 lines because you'll notice down here, I have also backup e-user Scotty, and that's because I've moved the location of my normal Windows user folders to my second data drive, which is much larger. So I'm going to back up my C user Scotty, my C drive users folder, and the E drive users folder that I created. Again, you can customize this for yourself. The important thing to note here, there's a difference between these 2 lines. The first one has a single angle bracket. That means that whatever's in robobackup.log, the single bracket means I'm going to truncate that log and start over. When you have a double angle bracket like here, that means this second command is going to open up robobackup.log and append the output of the second robocopy command. So first one, single arrow bracket, every line after that, use 2 of them, and that means each day it's going to overwrite this robobackup.log file, and you'll be able to see a daily report of what it backed up. Okay, so now if you have any other folders besides the user folder, you want to add another line for each of them, you can just copy the example lines that I'm going to include in the script and modify them. I have on my data drive, I have eAttic and eStuff, so I'm going to back those up to T, my backup drive, backup /E as opposed to C. I'm backing my stuff up based on, the C stuff goes to backup /C, the E stuff goes to backup /E. You can name this stuff on your backup drive whatever you want. Or just follow my example here. So I'm going to back up eAttic to backup drive, and my eStuff, I've got a bunch of stuff in there, to this directory on my T drive, and a whole bunch of switches. You'll notice that in these commands down here for other folders, this little thing, this /A:/S is missing. Otherwise, the switches for other folders are exactly the same. So if you care, let me quickly go over what all these crazy switches actually mean. I included a summary up here. So basically, /mir, that's going to mirror directories and files. What that means is it's simply going to copy the directory that you give to it, the source, and all its subdirectories and subfiles, and it's going to delete any files that no longer exist in this case, my Scotty users folder. If you don't want to have it delete files, then instead of /mir, you can use /e. And what that will do is it will mirror everything, but it will never actually delete any files on a daily basis. The second switch is /im, and that just means it's going to back up files that have been modified. Normally Robocopy does this thing where it scans over the files and it sees like, okay, well, is it changed? /im means it's also going to include any files that have been modified, even if, say, like the number of bytes is the same and all that stuff. You don't really have to understand that. Just include /im in case, just to be sure that it will back up modified files. The next 2 switches are a bit goofy. It's /w:0 and /r:1. Normally what happens is when Robocopy fails trying to copy a file, say it's locked and it's open in some application you're running, it will retry like 300,000 times and it'll delay like 30 seconds or something. So what can happen is your series of Robocopy commands in this script here can get hung up. So by including /w0, you're basically saying before retrying a failed file copy, wait only zero time, right? And then /r1 says only retry 1 time. So that means it's not going to get hung up on any file that it can't copy. It's just going to retry once and then move on. And if it doesn't copy a file, it'll simply try again the next day, and hopefully that file won't be locked. Next, we have x/xj, which it excludes symbolic links and junction points. Now that may sound, for those of you who know about the Windows file system and user folders, that may sound like it's not going to include all your different user folders. It is. This /xj thing is, it's kind of complicated, but include it and everything will not get borked when you try to copy it. Next, we have on our user folders only, you notice I don't have /xa:/s for my other folders. What that's going to do is it's going to exclude system files. Oops, there we go. Now this is kind of important because your main users folder, in this case C user Scotty, it's going to include a whole bunch of system files. Those are hidden files that the system creates that you never actually see. If you don't include /xa:/s, it will try and copy those. It can cause problems. It takes longer to copy, and really those system files are not needed. So when you are backing up just your users folder, you want to include /xa:/s. And finally, we have /NFL and /ndl. Those two lines are basically just saying when it creates this robobackup.log file, if you don't include /NFL and /ndl, it will include a line for every single file and folder that it copies, and your log file will be like 120 megabytes. It'll be absolutely huge. So this /NFL and /ndl is just saying, look, don't bother writing all that stuff. I just need the summary of the output of my backup script. Okay, so once you modify this and you get it the way you want, you save it, and then what you're going to do is you're going to have to save it somewhere handy. And then what you're going to do is click on Start and type task, and you actually want task scheduler. So you can put this batch file, robobackup.bat, put it somewhere interesting, like I don't know, you can put it on your C drive, you can put it, I keep mine in my C user Scotty because that's just kind of a sensible thing, and of course because my C user Scotty folder is being backed up, the Robo Backup will actually back itself up, so I'll never lose it, which is kind of handy. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and say create task. Now we'll call the name and call it like Robo Backup. You can give it a description if you want. Scotty's amazing backup system. And then change user group. Check run whether user is logged on or not, and also click run with highest privileges because you need to run it as an administrator. Configure for, it doesn't really matter, and I just usually pick whatever version of Windows I'm using. Then we're going to come over to the triggers tab, and we're going to add a new trigger. And okay, we want to pick daily, and then you say start. We'll say, okay, well actually we need to start it. You can run it at any time of day that you want. I want to run it at say 3:30 in the morning, so I'm going to say 03:30 00, and recur every 1 day. That's going to run starting tomorrow, and at 3:30 in the morning it will execute the script. Delay task, no. Stop if task runs longer. Expire, enabled. Okay, that's it. So we click OK. That's going to run daily at 3:30 every day. Then we come over to actions, and we say new, because we have to actually tell it what we want it to do when the task executes, and we want it to execute a program or script. So you just click here, you go to C users Scott, and you find there it is, Robo Backup. So we don't have to add any arguments because it's just a batch script, so you click OK. So okay, now we have a name, we have it running at 3:30 every day. At 3:30 every day, it's going to execute robobackup.bat as an administrator, and conditions, we don't want that. We want it to start the task only if the computer is on AC power. No, we don't care. We want it to wake the computer to run this task. We don't care about a network connection. Okay, and then finally in settings, Run task, if the start is missed, sure. Stop the task. If running task is not enforced, to stop. Okay, so there you go. Allow it to be run on demand. Run task as soon as possible after a scheduled start is missed. And the rest of these you can leave as they are. Click OK. Now it's going to ask you for your password, and the reason for that is because you're running it as an administrator, so you type in your password. And there you go. Now if you go to your task scheduler library, you'll see down here you have, there it is. Your task is ready and it will run at 3:30 every day. And that's pretty much it. You're done. Now you just wait for the script to run and all your stuff will be backed up. Now the next day you can come and you can look at the Robo backup log, which will be on your C drive. And this is just an example that I ran on my desktop computer, and you can see this is the type of output. Every Robocopy command begins with this little header here, Robocopy blah blah blah, tells you the time of day, tells you the source, the destination, and all the switches you used. You will see when you're backing up user folders some error messages like this. Oh, parent.lock file, can't do this. Don't worry about that. That's not a big deal. What you really want to focus on is this stuff right here. You can see the total DIRS files, bytes, and time that it took. You see here in the skipped column, it says it skipped 57 gigabytes out of 59 gigabytes. That's because this is only 1.5 gigabytes changed. So you can take a look at this if you want, or you just look at your backup drive and see that it's actually backed all your stuff up. That's probably a better idea. And then here you can see it backed up my eAttic and my ePublic and all kinds of other good stuff. So there you go. Now you have your own Robo backup, and it's quick, it's easy, and there you go. You can back up whatever you want, whenever you want. You can change the settings so that it backs up like every hour if you want. You can have it back up in the morning, in the evening. You can change the task schedule and just do whatever you want with it. You can back up more files, fewer files. You can back up individual libraries if you want. C:\users, Scotty, documents instead of the whole users folder. It's entirely flexible, and once you set it up, you just let it rip and take a peek at your backup drive every now and then, and there you go. Now, if you do need an external backup hard drive, I use one of these. This is a Samsung Portable SSD T7. This is 1 terabyte. The 500 gig model is currently $79. This is a 1 terabyte. It was $129. These are ridiculously fast. They're SSDs. They're external. They're super tiny. And as you can see, I labeled this one Big Stick because I use this one not for backup, but as a sort of a giant USB stick because I do a lot of work with fixing people's computers, and I have to haul. If I have to back up an entire user profile, I want something small that fits in my pocket that's also fast. These are great as external backup drives because they're small, they're fast, and your copy is going to run much faster. SSDs are pretty reliable these days, so if you need an external backup drive, check these guys out. Note that they come with 2 cables. It's a Type-C to Type-A and also a Type-C to Type-C. In order to get the maximum transfer speed of over 1 gigabyte per second, you need the Type-C cable, but even if you use the other one, it's still going to be pretty zippy. So, right, there you go. You don't need to use file history anymore. You don't need to pay for any backup software. You just spend 5 minutes hooking this script up, you create a task, and you have a 100% flexible, 100% reliable backup system that's using the Windows Robocopy command, which has been around since the days of Vista and will be around for quite a while now, I'm guessing. And there you go. You'll never lose any files again. For more techie tips, see ScottiesTech.Info. Thanks for watching. See you next time.